Alright everybody, we are here for a top 5. Per usual, I got some disclaimers. A, I live in a house with dogs. You're probably going to hear them. B, my house is right beside the road. You're probably going to hear some cars. But we have an interesting top 5 for you guys. This is top 5 Wii games that could come to the Switch in the year 2020. Because as the day I'm recording this, it's the 4th. I may get it out today, I may not. We'll see. People are already starting the rumor mill, starting the speculation wheel. What Wii U games are coming to Nintendo? So I compiled a list of 5. We'll talk about a couple more, but games stuck on the Wii U that might find their way over to the Switch. Now, believe it or not, I actually tried to use some kind of logic with this list. I looked at what people were wanting ported over, so I knew there was at least interest in the game, plus the likelihood and easeability of getting those games over to the Switch. Now, does Nintendo stand to gain anything from the effort's the big question, and how would they control on the Switch is another one. Because due to the gamepad, the gamepad never had to be docked, so Nintendo had 2 screens. Look at Star Fox Zero, look at Nintendo Land, look at some of these other games where you were getting an experience on the gamepad that was different from the TV. With the Switch, that's really hard to do because you dock your Switch, then you don't have the second screen, and if you undock your Switch, then you don't have the TV. Gonna be tough to work around that one. Now, the tricky part is, I don't think the Switch needs a whole lot of Wii U ports. In fact, looking over my list, I could honestly only come up with maybe 3 games that the Switch needs. And I'm talking mostly first or second party. There may be some third party games that should be on there, but without further ado, let's get into this list. Okay, number 1, in my opinion, this is the quintessential, the strongest candidate of the Wii U's library that needs to come over to the Switch. Super Mario 3D World. What? You thought I was going to say Nintendo Land? Nah, I'm not that crazy. I just needed some footage of some Wii U games. So Super Mario 3D World, on the other hand, is a total gem. I got it basically when I first got my Wii U. I won't go into too much detail now because I actually want to talk about my experiences I had with the Wii U during its lifespan in another video. Needless to say, this was a great game. Now, I haven't played it in a while. My disc that I got when I first got my Wii U doesn't work anymore. I bought a second one. I moved. That second one is probably packed up. I haven't really had a desire to play it since then, but correct me if I'm wrong, Nintendo doesn't have any Mario games lined up for the Switch right now, and that blows my mind. We've carved through Tennis Mario, Rabbids Mario, Odyssey Mario, New Super Mario Bros., the Party Mario, and Kart Mario. So now we're patiently waiting for Mario Odyssey 2. This would be a great holdover. I've heard people also mention Color Splash, but that game is really dependent on the gamepad. Actually, now that I think about it, let's try that again. Now that I think about it, I think you can play in just the gamepad mode, which means you can probably play in just the handheld mode. So strike that. Let's go ahead and add Color Splash to a list of games that possibly could come out. When I wrote this, I thought it was way too gamepad dependent, but I'm pretty sure you can turn off that feature and just play on the gamepad. So B, the other thing holding it back is I thought people didn't like that game. Am I wrong? Did people like Color Splash? I don't know. My friends didn't have a Wii U, so I'm kind of just going off what I hear on the internet. Secondly, Nintendo Land. All right. Okay, now I have officially lost my mind. This game goes against all my rules, but hey, Nintendo Land is a great game. And if I haven't lost you already, I probably just did. But listen, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Nintendo Land, but again, Nintendo, I believe, wants to give you the option to play in the handheld mode exclusively, which just wouldn't work with Nintendo Land. There's no way to dock it, get it on the TV, just play, say, the Luigi Mansion game, and still have someone use the gamepad. So it'd have to be reworked. But even if we don't get Nintendo Land in this version, I think they should update one for the Switch and add Bayonetta, Astral Chain, Wonderful 101, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, as well as Splatoon. Because honestly, between the Switch and the Wii U, Nintendo has launched a couple of new IPs that didn't exist when Nintendo Land came out. And I think it'd be awesome to see them get represented because I don't think Nintendo Land got any DLC during its time on the Wii U. Third, Wonderful 101. Again, you're going to see a constant themes of games needing to be reworked. I think Nintendo and Platinum Games have something to gain from this release, and honestly, maybe it should be number 2 on my list. But oh well, the script has already been created. Either way, Wonderful 101 is beloved, but is stuck on the Wii U, which just had such a lower install base than the Switch. Now, to my knowledge, Platinum Games has been hard at work at Bayonetta 3 following Astral Chain, so I'm not sure if Platinum Games would have to oversee the port or how that works. If you understand that better than I do, like, does Nintendo have a third party working on ports? Does Nintendo do it themselves? Do they leave it up to the company? Because they leave it up to Platinum Games, I'm not really sure how bad Platinum wants to allocate resources to porting it over when they're hard at work on Bayonetta 3. However, if it did sell well, a new age of fans would be crying for Wonderful 102, or whatever they decide to call it. Alright, number 4 is honestly one of the more reasonable games to my knowledge, and that's Pikmin 3. The first game on this list that I haven't played at all. Now, I haven't played a lot of Wonderful 101, but I've at least played some of it. Pikmin 3, I haven't played any of it. Jessica has played the demo, though, for what that's worth. So I can't speak on how dependent on the gamepad this game really is. Regardless, I kind of disregarded this port when I saw people talking about it, because this is one of those games people said, Pikmin 3, port it over, port it over. But I kind of disregarded it because Nintendo's kind of been hyping up Pikmin 4 in the background. That's everybody's big pick. Since Metroid 4 has kind of fallen through for right now, everyone's saying Pikmin 4 is going to be the Nintendo Direct game. That's going to be what Nintendo hangs its hat on for this year. Because really, honestly, all Nintendo's announced is Animal Crossing. Really, the other two games are remakes. Xenoblade Chronicles from the Wii, Tokyo Mirage Sessions from the Wii U. So as the time of the recording this, they just have Animal Crossing to hang their hat on, and some Smash Brothers DLC. So I disregarded Pikmin 3 because I'm like, Pikmin 4 is probably coming this year or next. However, well, actually, let's back it up. The other thing I've been hearing is people say, no, forget Pikmin 3. Give us a Pikmin trilogy, like a remastered Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch. And I was like, that's pretty good, because that would hold over a lot of people who have been just, give us Pikmin 4. However, if we don't get the trilogy, the more and more I write this, the more I think this could be a solid port. Pikmin 4 looks like it's taking longer than expected, so giving us Pikmin 3 remastered could solve a lot of issues. A, it would tide over Pikmin fans while finishing up Pikmin 4. B, it would introduce a new generation of Pikmin. Pikmin 1 and 2 came out on the GameCube, and a lot of hardcore players jumped off the Nintendo bandwagon with the Wii, meaning plenty of people could have missed the third installment, that was on the Wii U, after loving the first two. 5. Star Fox Zero, one of the most hated games. I mean, it's up there with, Amiibo Festival as probably the most hated Wii U game. People couldn't get into the controls, they couldn't get into the gamepad. I've played maybe like the first 4 missions of it. I honestly don't mind it. I really don't mind it at all. I see where people are coming from, but it hasn't ruined my experience with it. However, it's another example of a game that's super dependent on the gamepad. When you look at the TV, it's easier to control, but harder to aim. When you look at the gamepad, it's easier to aim, but harder to control. You don't get both options with the Switch. You either have to play it in this handheld mode, which I don't know if that would just be the cockpit version, and if you play it on the TV, then you get the normal view, but they're both very incomplete. They really complement each other. So this game would have to be reworked, which I think would be for the best because people don't like it in its current state. So I don't think it would just be a one-for-one port. I think they'd have to actually get in there and work. Do they want to do that? I don't know. I really don't know. However, Star Fox he's kind of falling out of the limelight after taking over on the Super Nintendo and the N64. People didn't like Star Fox Adventures for whatever reason. I didn't get to play Star Fox Assault, and now Star Fox Zero has just tarnished his name. So I think they need to bring him back in a big way, and remastering this game in a way that it's playable to most people is probably a good starting point. And if they do that right, it could get people interested in a Star Fox sequel. Because he's one of my favorite characters that just sadly hasn't got to do much in almost 20 years. It's really great. Maybe over 20 years, honestly. I don't know when Star Fox 64 came out, but it's probably in the 90s, maybe 2000. Either way, that's my list. Trust me, I know there are better games. Perfect example, Splatoon. It's not really dependent on the gamepad, as the gamepad most of the time just serves as a map. You can move that map up to the TV, you can toggle it or untoggle it, disable it, enable it, or you can just get rid of it entirely, and boom, you're golden. You got Splatoon. I'm just not sure they would want to do that since we already have Splatoon 2, and I think most people would prefer them working on Splatoon 3 over a remake of the first game. It's the same problem with the other two Zelda games. Twilight Princess and Winwaker I see on almost everybody's list. And trust me, I agree with you. If Twilight Princess came out on the Wii U, maybe even Winwaker came out on the Wii U, because Winwaker was amazing on the on the Switch. Because Winwaker was amazing on the Wii U. Twilight Princess was good on the Wii U. I haven't finished playing it like I've played a lot of Winwaker. But you bring either one of those over to the Switch, they're probably going to do well. They'll probably instantly jump into like top 10 Switch games. But is that really what we want when Skyward Sword is still trapped on the Wii? I just don't know. I think I would rather see Skyward Sword lifted to the Switch than get 2 more ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. So, in conclusion, I think Mario 3D World and Pikmin have the most realistic shot, even if I didn't order them that way. Either way, let me know what games you guys want to see ported over. I really don't think the Switch needs any more, but they're probably coming nonetheless. I honestly think Super Mario 3D World could be the first and last port we need from here on out. But I certainly see porting Pikmin and Star Fox over to tide people over until Pikmin 4 and Star Fox 2 or whatever they call that game. Same with Wonderful 101. If they really want to launch that into a franchise, getting it off of the Switch is probably getting it off of the Wii U and onto the Switch, probably the best thing you can do. They did it with Bayonetta. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What are some games you guys want? I didn't talk about eShop games. I saw some people mention Fatal Frame, but that was just an eShop game. So, I mean, Fatal Frame might could work. I've never played it. I think it's also dependent on the gamepad, but I could be wrong. But anyway, enough blabbering on me. What games do you guys want to see brought over? Have a great day, everybody. Oh, yeah. Also heard Xenoblade Chronicles X mentioned. Again, not sure if they would want to release that the same time they're releasing the Xenoblade Chronicles from the Wii, but maybe they would. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a great day.